Story 1. After you have finished using an item, such as a pair of scissors or a flashlight, put it back where it belongs so the next person can use it. Story 2. The people on the elevator exit first. That means before the others waiting for the elevator enter. Always. Every time. No exceptions. If I'm riding an elevator and you try to get on before letting me off, I will make it awkward for everyone involved and have literally no shame. Is negative shame possible? I will have negative shame for making you feel awkward trying to block me from getting off the elevator. Apparently, my new petty hill to die on is that negative shame is obviously intended to be humorous. I know what pride is, people. Story 3. You lose loose change. Your team did not lose. You did not lose your wallet. You do not have loose change. This is my Waterloo. Story 4. Please do not try to have a conversation with me when I am in another room, especially if I am doing dishes, laundry, making food, or showering. I am trying to listen to you but cannot clearly hear what you are saying. Most likely, I will ask you to repeat yourself 3 times or ignore you until I can come to where you are. Either way, you will probably be upset about it. I now understand why that upset my mother so much when I was younger. Story 5. For the love of all, if you take the last of something, throw the box or bag away. Sincerely, all parents everywhere. Story 6. Having any sound coming from your phone over the speaker in public is inappropriate. What is wrong with you? I do not need to hear your unpleasant music or your conversation. Story 7. Every day. Something that happens every day. Every day, ordinary, unremarkable. Story 8. Scrape your plate off before putting dishes into the dishwasher. I am home from college right now living in a 5-person home, and my sister is the only person who understands this. Everyone else basically puts meals in the dishwasher or lets things like cereal get stuck to the plates and cups, which drives me crazy. It is a dishwasher, not a garbage can. Story 9. Those new extra safe high visibility headlights should not be installed in any vehicles larger than a wagon. I do not need light-emitting diode spotlights pointing into my eyes from the front and all 3 mirrors. Seeing is fun for other drivers too. Story 10. If my wife would just stop asking me questions and watch the movie, she would understand what the movie is about. For the record, my wife is the best person in the world. If I were to answer this question for her, she would probably tell me that the way I load the dishes will eventually give her a stroke. Her way does get them cleaner, after all. Story 11. The woman who sued McDonald's for the dangerously hot coffee was right, and she should say so. Story 12. You are not the only person in the grocery store, lady. Move your cart to the side in anticipation of others trying to get by. It is not predicting the future, and you really need to work on your spatial awareness. I have long held the opinion that there are 2 kinds of people in this world: shopping cart people and non-shopping cart people. Just remember, it is always malice, never ignorance. Story 13. I will argue all day long with people who use apostrophes when something is plural. Please stop. Story 14. People who think it is harmless to put a service dog vest on non-service dogs are mistaken. 1. It is a crime in 23 United States. It is a crime because people who genuinely need service dogs should be the ones to have that privilege, not your small dog that cannot be quiet. Why is it a crime? Please consider the following points. 2. Most of these people allow others to pet their dogs, which leads others to believe that all service animals can be petted. This is not safe. If you pet a service animal, you distract it from performing its duties, and this could lead to injury or death of its owner. 3. Your animals are not trained service animals. It is obvious to anyone familiar with well-trained animals versus those that are simply on a leash. An untrained animal in an unfamiliar situation experiences stress, as do the people around you. You are not entitled to inconvenience others for your own comfort. There have been cases of people bringing fake service dogs into court to intimidate domestic violence victims, people bringing their dogs to crowded events where the dogs repeatedly bite others, and many more examples. It is irresponsible and selfish behavior. Please stop. Story 15. People that do not know the difference between losing and losing get my downvote every time. Story 16. Leaving the lights on when there is no one in the room is very annoying. Story 17. People who do not mix their sour cream so it is not soupy on top before they use it. What is wrong with them? Story 18. When I was younger, I got a job at Subway. The manager was showing me the ropes and told me, "We take the chicken out right away to defrost before service." All I said was, "You mean to just thaw?" I did not have a job at Subway after that conversation. Story 19. I bought the house, so the spot in the driveway closest to the front door is mine. Roommates, please park on the street. Story 20. That box of useless cables in my closet? You know, the one that has a bunch of old Universal Serial Bus cables, Radio Corporation of America cables, even S-Video cables, and a large number of alternating current adapters I can't find the ends for? Yes, that box is mine, and I will never throw it away. Even if it only comes in handy once a year, I feel great being like a hero when a friend or family member needs one of those useless cables for something. Story 21. You do not have free reign over something. It is free reign. It is an equestrian metaphor, people. Story 22. I may very well consider murder whenever I see or hear the use of, for all intents and purposes. Story 23. When not in use, the microwave functions as a clock. Stop leaving and use time displayed. You only need to press the cancel button once. Story 24. Close the microwave door after you take your food out. The microwave is at head height above our stove. Story 25. If you tell me you are going to definitely do something, I am going to picture you doing it with defiance, all angry, marching around upset that you had to do it. It is definitely, people. Definitely and defiantly are two completely different words with completely different connotations and definitions. Story 26. My wife wanted to get rid of the Nintendo 64 I have had since 1997. She said it looks tacky. I love her, but I disagree. Edit. Sorry for the late edit. I check this every few days. Thanks for the internet points. To be clear, my wife is awesome. She and the Nintendo 64 are not going anywhere. Also, I like Joe Biden. I have just always thought he is a bit of a weirdo. Story 27. Monosodium glutamate is not dangerous, and it is unfortunate that many people miss out on its deliciousness because of misinformation. Story 28. I work in a national grocery chain known for its organic foods. My job recently started implementing break logs for our 10-minute breaks. We do not have to punch out for them and get 2 per day. Someone was caught taking longer breaks, and instead of addressing the person directly, we all have to keep a log of our breaks. I am an adult and will not sign the logs because I do not believe in collective punishment. Story 29. All water does not taste the same. Thank you all for the silver. This is my first gold here. Much love. Story 30. It's here, here, not here, here. Get it right. Story 31. You can clearly taste the difference between Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Do not argue with me. Story 32. Not every Indian dish you eat is curry-flavored. Stop. Story 33. I will go to great lengths to avoid speaking with someone over the phone. Email, text, go to their office, sit and fume. I don't know exactly why, but I really dislike it. Story 34. Push your chair in when you stand up from the table. Story 35. Self-plagiarism is inappropriate and should not be considered a form of plagiarism. Story 36. It is worth pulling all the hardware off furniture I am throwing away. I might use it to build something someday, and screws, drawer handles, or whatever are expensive. Also, never mind that huge pile of saved hardware in the garage. My mess is my business. Story 37. It is, I couldn't care less, because if you could care less, that means you care at least one bit, but if you couldn't care less, then it means you do not care at all. Story 38. Effect versus effect. It annoys me when people use them incorrectly. Story 39. Just this weekend, my husband and I got into an argument because he claimed I fell asleep watching YouTube on my phone at 3 a.m. I said I went to bed around 12 a.m. He is a web developer with a penchant for systems, so he checked the home network, which showed no Wi-Fi traffic after 1 a.m. I showed him my YouTube history. The video I was watching was 2 hours long and was paused at 45 minutes in. So he was wrong. But here it is Wednesday, and he is still upset about it and claims I am gaslighting him. This is such a silly argument. Edit. I am on mobile, so it autocorrected gaslighting to gaslightning. I appreciate the comments correcting and making fun of the error, so it stays. We have a great relationship. These silly arguments that go nowhere are honestly part of being in a long-term relationship. He still kissed me goodbye and told me to have a great day this morning, so nobody is really mad. Just when you are around someone 24/7, you have to keep it interesting somehow. Story 40. I am an astronomer. I do not have knowledge about your astrology sign, so please stop asking me about it. Story 41. If someone has their door closed when you enter their room, close it when you leave. I feel like there is only one person in every household who understands that, and they are the people who keep their door closed. Story 42. On-premise is not a valid shortening of on-premises. If you are going to shorten it, use on-prem. Story 43. Flying cars are impractical. The idea is appealing until you realize that it involves too much responsibility and it costs too much for the average person to operate legally and safely. Story 44. Han shot first. You cannot tell me otherwise, George Lucas. Story 45. Just because I am a girl does not mean I cannot play as a male character in a massively multiplayer online game. I swear, if I have this argument one more time with a man who is playing as a female character, I will scream. Story 46. It is perfectly reasonable to compare apples to oranges. They are both fruits, available year-round, and comprise the two primary breakfast juices. Story 47. Principle and principle. If something is against your principles, you should know it does not make sense. Story 48. You do not do things by accident. You do things on purpose. Story 49. It's could have, should have, would have, not could have, should have, would have. Story 50. Improperly installed high-intensity discharge lights should be ticketed aggressively. Blinding everyone on the road should be illegal. Thank you for the support. If you want to contribute, please donate to a coronavirus disease-related fund instead and help make the world a little better. Story 51. Do not salt the food I have made for you until you have tried it. Story 52. Mr. Pibb is not the same as Dr. Pepper. I will not drink it. Please let me know if you do not have or offer Dr. Pepper, and I will choose something else. Story 53. Just because you are blood related to someone does not mean you need to care about them, love them, or even like them. Story 54. This is a steak knife with a hardened chunk of peanut butter on it, placed on the counter next to the sink. Use our butter knives instead of ruining my nice set of knives. Don't leave the knife out long enough to make washing it more difficult. Rinse your silverware and put it in the dishwasher. How many times do you think I have encountered this? Story 55. The plural for Pokemon is not Pokemons. You don't have a bunch of Pokemons, you have a bunch of Pokemon. Story 56. Hayden Christensen's Anakin was brilliantly acted but poorly written. Story 57. If you put meat into a grilled cheese, it is not a gourmet grilled cheese. It is a melt. Story 58. If someone shows their middle finger to you, you have been flipped off, not flicked off. It was originally called flipping the bird, but people misheard flipping as flicking and use it incorrectly all the time. Story 59. Not every scandal is referred to as Gate. It was called Watergate because that was the name of the hotel. Not every time a scandal happens should it be called whatever gate. Petty but stupid. Story 60. You scratch an itch. You do not itch it. Also, there is no letter G in sandwich. Sandwich? I never let either of those slide in my house. No way. Story 61. Monopoly is an inherently unbalanced and poorly designed game. Whoever starts winning will simply keep winning, and the rest of the players face a slow path to bankruptcy. The winner is usually the most ruthless person at the table. This is why it breaks friendships. It was meant to show the unfairness of unregulated capitalism, but somehow it became an American classic. Compared to modern games, it is terrible. Story 62. Should have is not, and has never been, a grammatically incorrect phrase. Story 63. Older people should be retested for their driver's license every couple of years. Why not everyone, for that matter? Young people who have just passed their test may drive slowly and cautiously, but older people who have poor vision or no longer have the attention span to look right once at a roundabout before pulling out are everywhere and are the worst. Older inattentive people are far more dangerous and cause far more accidents than a 17-year-old performing a wheelie on an empty road at night. Story 64. Modified cars with extreme wheel camber are dangerous, even in the least severe cases. This issue seems to bother almost no one except myself. Such modifications should be illegal. The same applies to oversized lifted vehicles commonly known as donks. Story 65. Cavalry versus cavalry. You cannot call in the cavalry, and the cavalry cannot arrive anywhere. Calvary is a specific biblical location, the hillside where Jesus was crucified. It is in no way interchangeable with the word cavalry, which refers to a group of mobile troops. Story 66. It is nuclear, not nuclear. Edit. Nuclear is the correct pronunciation. Story 67. Put your shopping cart in a designated area when you are done with it. Do not leave it in random parking spots. People who do not do this are rude, lazy, and inconsiderate. Story 68. Dislike red delicious apples. They taste like construction paper and have skin that is just as thick. Story 69. Vanilla ice cream is a decadent and rich flavor. It is absolutely not plain in any way. I fully support this opinion. Story 70. Lime Skittles were the best original flavor, and it is a travesty that they have been replaced by sour apple. Story 71. There was a hill near where I grew up called Top of the World, where you could see most of our small town. There was a small gravel parking lot where people could park, and it was about a 200-yard walk to the viewpoint. Not many people knew about it except locals. It was kind of windy, but if I had to pick a hill, that would be the one. I am referencing the Top of the World in Manhattan, Kansas. After reading comments and messages today, it seems many small towns have their own Top of the World location. Thank you to everyone for the awards, kind words, and fun memories. I'm usually a lurker, but this was enjoyable. Story 72. Tomorrow does not start until I have slept for the night or the sun comes up. It may be past midnight, and the date has changed, but I will talk to you tomorrow, not later today. God damn it. Story 73. Could care less is completely incorrect because it literally means the opposite of what you intend to convey. Edit. Rest in peace my inbox. Is this what it's like to be the top post in an AskReddit thread? This is getting strange up here. Story 74. The words use and utilize are not interchangeable, and 99% of the time, use is the better option. Learn to use these words correctly to better employ the English language. Story 75. Pegasus is the name of a winged horse, not the name of a species. Story 76. Canadian bacon is not bacon. Everyone knows it, even the Canadians. Can we just call it Northern ham or something? Calling it bacon feels disrespectful to actual bacon. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.